idea of what other things that I'd want to say. First of all, they've given you kind of great advice, and I don't have kind of anything particularly to add to that. One of the things I didn't hear anyone ask about, though, I do kind of want to add on, is this, when you get past kind of the personal interview, is we get questions about leadership experience. And I got kind of a great example of that. Actually, our class president 3 years ago was a Clemson graduate. He actually played on the football team here. Now, he'll tell you that he only played in the Duke game. I mean, he was honest about that. He only played when, they only put him out on the field, when y'all played Duke. But he was, class president. He's an anesthesiology resident now, and his grades were good. I mean, were they absolutely stellar when we looked at him as an applicant for the admissions committee? They were certainly good enough to get an interview. They were certainly an individual that we wanted to see. But I think the intangible there is that here is this guy who committed himself to 4 years to going to the football games, to going to every practice, to working out with the team, and even playing against Duke, when that kind of came up. And that says something incredible to us about him as an individual. He was a great medical student. He is a great physician now, learning how to do anesthesiology as far as it's concerned. And I think that's the type of thing that we're looking for that's kind of hard to describe. We want to know, what is it that you've done with yourself in your 4 years at Clemson or wherever you are as far as that's concerned. How have you distinguished yourself? And not just on kind of an academic playing field, but on all playing fields. If you're the NCAA athlete, that says a whole lot. That gets mentioned in the admissions committee. Here is a person who played for 4 years, put the time and effort into that. And so maybe they're the one who got the 3.4 or the 3.5 instead of the 3.6. We understand why they got the 3.4 or the 3.5. And if they got that and they played a sport for 4 years, or any activity, student body president, you take your, name your pick. I'm just kind of picking on sports because I think it's something that many people can kind of relate to. We know the time and effort that it takes to put into something like that. That really, I think, makes a difference and makes you shine when we kind of talk about the admissions process and the interview process. So I encourage people to do whatever they feel passionate about. If that's the paper or the yearbook or the radio or a sport or a club or a debate or whatever it is, pick what you're passionate about. My passion was volunteerism. I spent time working at a community volunteer organization over the course of my time when I went to undergrad in Virginia. I know that's another name we don't kind of mention around here, but I did undergrad in Virginia, and I spent a lot of my time doing volunteer work. I definitely think that was the reason. My grades were okay. I didn't blow away the MCAT, and my grades weren't horrible, but I think it's definitely the reason why I ended up in medical school is because I was able to show my passion for why I wanted to do this. Didn't think I wanted to be a psychiatrist, by the way. I thought I wanted to go into family medicine and fell in love with psychiatry over the process. And so you just need to find what you're in love with and do that. And do it passionately and give it every effort you got. And the medical admissions committees, wherever they are, will recognize that. I think the other thing I want to say real quickly, kind of an ending, is right now there are 126 medical schools in this country, and there's about half a dozen more that are trying to become medical schools before things are all said and done with. And one of the former deans and a mentor of mine said, if you've seen one medical school, you've seen one medical school. And I think that's absolutely true. They're all different. Those of you who are not from South Carolina and come from other states and other medical schools, hearing us come up here, we can kind of certainly give you some generalities. And I think the generalities of what you need on an application to get to medical school will pretty much serve you well at any medical school, but they're all different. And our medical school is certainly different from whether we're talking about MUSC or Georgia or any other medical school that you want to think about there. They're all different. The other thing is, I've got a lot of times to get asked the question, well, what makes you unique, or what kind of makes you, different as a medical school? And I think that Dr. Stallworth and Catalana could, give answers to that as well. Certainly, I think one of the things I like about it, and I appreciate, I came from a medical school with a class of 100 individuals. This class size, you can kind of go up to about 90. I like the small class size. I like the ability to call my students by their first name, and sometimes know what their pets' names are and what their spouses' names are, and even where they went to undergrad. I like that about the school. I like the fact that I keep my door open, and that any student, from any of the years can walk into my office anytime they want. They don't even have to go through my secretary. I actually set it up that way. They can walk in anytime they want. And that's just not me. I'm not saying that because it's about me as an individual. It's about us as a school. You can walk into Dr. Stallworth's office. You find it over in the hospital, but you can walk into it. You can walk into Dr. Catalana's. You can walk into any office. All our doors are open. If our door's locked, or our door's closed, it means we're meeting with someone. If not, our doors are open. I really like that about our school. And so, I mean, I think if there's anything that you can say about, the USC School of Medicine is that we're a small school. We focus on our students. It's absolutely job number one as far as I'm concerned in our education. We really like that about the school. We could have sent one of us up here. Probably could have served well with sending any one of us up here to talk to you tonight. Clemson is as important as any other school. We sent all three of us up here tonight. It's important. I know Dr. Stallworth has got to round at 5 o'clock in the morning. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be teaching medical students about mood disorders. But for right now, we're here to talk to y'all, and it's absolutely important that we be here. So that's why we're kind of here tonight. It's been great to have such a nice turnout. And as I said, we'll hang around. You're welcome to come up and ask all the individual questions you want. We'll do our best to try to answer them for you. But also as a psychiatrist, I can kind of read a group, and a few of you are kind of getting sleepy, and is this Grey's Anatomy night? I never kind of keep track of those things. But there's probably something that someone's wondering whether did they set their DVR or not for. So for those of you who are ready to leave or get out of here, thank y'all for coming. Again, and before I forget, April 10th, we haven't set it out yet, but April 10th is going to be pre-med day down at USC. It's going to be an all-day event. We're inviting all the pre-med students and their advisors from across South Carolina, and probably a few from North Carolina and Georgia as well. So we're going to have pretty much a full day of activities on Saturday, April 10th down at USC. We're going to show you the school. We're going to do mock interviews. Dr. Stallworth doesn't know that yet, but if he's available, we're probably trying to get him to do a mock interview before things are over with, so you can really see, how he breaks an individual down, and with the light shining over them and everything else in the process. We're going to show you our ultrasound curriculum. Ultrasound curriculum is very popular at our school. We're one of the only schools in the country, or the only school in the country, that has a 4-year ultrasound curriculum set up for our students that they learn from day one. And so we're going to give you lots of experiences to meet our students, to hear about the admission process, to ask other questions you may have, and interact with other pre-med students from around the state. So that's going to be April 10th. Certainly we're going to be sending information to Dr. Smith in the next few weeks here so that y'all know about it. So please feel free to come down, one and all, spend the day with us, and let us show you about school.
And we've already heard about that, and we're making plans to take at least 2 vans, if not more. So AED will be providing some transportation for this event. So be on the lookout for emails, sign up, and if you want to drive the van, we can probably make that possible for you. So we're looking forward to that.
But otherwise, thank y'all so much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Your attention.
I know many of you, or several, maybe not all of you, but many of you have interviews coming up at USC. Some of you are applying now, so please come down and meet these individuals on the admissions committee. So they're the ones that are going to decide whether you get in or not. Interact with them, ask them more questions if you like.